a young student, always enjoyed staying late at the university to work on his research projects. But this night was different. The sky had darkened earlier than usual, and heavy clouds had gathered. Amir hurriedly packed his books and set off for home. The neighborhood where Amir lived was usually quiet and peaceful, but this night, the silence seemed more profound than usual. The streetlights were sporadically lit, casting long shadows on the ground. Amir felt as if stairs were piercing through the darkness at him, and heard footsteps following him. He quickened his pace, but the sounds quickened with him. Suddenly, a severe dizziness overcame Amir, and he couldn't maintain his balance. The world spun around him, and he fell to the ground with a shock. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in an unknown and dark place. A cool, damp air brushed against his face, and the sound of water droplets hitting the ground echoed in his ears. He was in an underground place, where the narrow stone walls allowed no light to pass through. Amir searched for a way out, but the more he searched, the corridors became narrower and darker. A moaning sound came from afar, and Amir realized he was not alone. But before he could understand more, a thunderous voice came from the darkness. The thunderous sound grew closer and closer, and Amir frantically looked for a place to hide. He stumbled upon a small room with an open door. Without thinking, he entered and shut the door behind him. He took deep breaths, trying to calm the pounding of his heart. But as he looked around, he realized the room was not dark. A yellow light was shining from a corner, and Amir moved towards it with trepidation. The light emanated from the yellow eyes of a strange creature sitting in the corner. The creature had rough black skin and sharp teeth protruding from its mouth. Amir wanted to scream, but no sound came out of his throat. The creature slowly lifted its head, and its yellow eyes, now glowing in the dark, stared at Amir. Amir remembered reading in ancient books that looking directly into the eyes of dark creatures could bind a human soul. He tried to avert his gaze from the creature's eyes, but there was something in the creature's look that captivated him. Suddenly, the creature made a sound like a whisper, and Amir realized it was speaking to him. The creature's voice was like the wind passing through stone crevices. "You, why, are here?" the creature asked in a questioning tone. Amir, still under the influence of the creature's gaze, replied, I don't know. I just wanted to go home." The creature slowly nodded and said, "Home no longer exists. You are in my world." With that, the creature slowly rose and stepped towards Amir. Amir wanted to run, but his legs had grown heavy with fear. The creature approached Amir slowly, and with a voice that had now become softer and more mysterious, said, "You have been chosen. The dizziness and unconsciousness you experienced were signs that led you here. This place is a gateway between your world and ours." Amir, filled with fear, asked, "Your world? Where is this? How can I return home?" The creature, whose yellow eyes now seemed to shine with an inner light, replied, "Our world is where the fears of humans become reality. You have seen this place as a guest, but to return, you must pass a test that will measure your courage and the strength of your spirit." Amir, now a bit more composed, cautiously asked, "What is the test, and what happens if I fail?" The creature, with a smile that seemed to engulf its face, said, "The test is a journey through the depths of your fears. If you succeed, you will find the way back to your world. But if you fail, you will lose your life and remain here forever." Amir, feeling a deep anxiety, took a deep breath and looked into the yellow eyes of the creature. He knew he had no choice but to accept the test. With a voice that betrayed his fear, he said, "I am ready. Begin the test." With a sudden movement, the creature extended its hand towards Amir, and Amir felt a cold, heavy hand placed on his forehead. In an instant, images of the deepest and darkest corners of Amir's fears rapidly appeared before his eyes. The images Amir saw were more terrifying than the last. He found himself in a dark forest where screams of terror echoed. The tall, black trees were like hands reaching out to him. Suddenly, creatures with red eyes and sharp teeth emerged from the trees and attacked him. Amir screamed and ran, but with every step, the forest grew darker and more frightening. He came upon a river with waters that were black and thick. A voice from the depths of the river said, "Jump and free yourself from your fears." Without hesitation, Amir jumped and plunged into the cold waters. When he emerged, he found himself in a bright and peaceful place. He stood in a beautiful green meadow with a clear blue sky above. The terrifying creature with yellow eyes was gone. Instead, a woman in white clothes with golden hair stood before him. The woman smiled and said, "You have passed the test. You have conquered your fears, and now you can return to your world." Amir, in astonishment, asked, "Who are you?" The woman replied, "I am the representative of light and hope. Anyone who defeats their fears sees me. Now it is time for you to return to where you belong." With that, the woman extended her hand towards Amir, and a brilliant light from her hands reached him. Amir closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he found himself on a street near his home. The sky was still dark, but he felt light and at peace. Amir walked home and went to bed with ease, assured that his fears no longer had power over him.